opportunities to do that today. One, the biggest expense.
Oh, wait. Okay. Besides healthcare, it's the military. So he's going to go into, let's see if you can point out at least 3 areas. This is it's amazing. It's nice having him kind of in the race for one reason, is that both he and Trump bring up talking points from like a decade ago that were asked and answered so many times they became boorish and stupid. This is like an old Ron Paul talking point he's about to do.
Is chronic disease our military-industrial complex.
There we go. So the military-industrial complex. What do you think he's going to say? Audit and the Fed and something.
We also can cut waste in government like never before. The Pentagon audit that came out last month showed that they lost $4 trillion.
No, they did not. They did not. They could not and would not account for $4 trillion over the course of the Afghan war and the Iraq war. And that they don't know where that gear that they gave to the Afghans went. They don't know where some gear was either dismantled or destroyed or whatever, like testing stuff or whatever. There's stuff that we've given to NATO countries. We've loaned out to African countries. It's just garbage. They know exactly where it is. But if they say where it is, you know who also knows where it is? The people we're fighting against. This is just dumb. But watch, he's going to say $19,000 toilet seats too.
They haven't passed an audit in 20 years. They lost this inventory. They don't know where it is.
What do you mean?
Bullshit.
They lost $4 trillion. They don't know where it is?
They don't know where it is. And most of it is inventory, things they bought that they lost track of. A lot of times they'll buy 2 or 3 or 4 times the same item because they can't.
Yeah, we all do that when we think the fridge. Like, why do I keep buying pickles? We already got pickles. I just thought we ran out of pickles and somebody didn't tell me.
Find it. But you can use AI walkers to go through all the stockpiles.
You can use AI walkers to go through all the stockpiles. AI walkers.
And identify every single thing that's in there so you don't lose anything ever. And
did you hear that? Yeah. AI walkers that will go through and identify everything so you never lose anything ever.
You can use blockchain to make sure that every American can see every expenditure from the Pentagon, make sure we're not buying, $16,000 toilet seats.
Okay, first of all, there were never any $16,000 toilet seats. There were never any $500 fucking hammers. They hid black budget stuff in those things for the sake of appropriation because they couldn't speak openly about it. Because if we know, they know. Look, anytime you're in a situation where you're in the Cold War, or you're in fucking hot war, or you're in a fucking tepid medium war, slightly spicy war, I don't give a shit. If the American public knows, so does the enemy. Why is that a mystery? Fucking ever. Who in the world thinks that you would ever want the military to list everything they have, how much it cost, and where it's stored on a fucking website so anybody can look at it? Are you fucking dumb? Look, we have oversight in our government and we put people in charge to get clearance on committees for this purpose. If we find out through whistleblowers or reports or misappropriation that they're not doing it right, then you know who the responsibility is? The people who are on the committee in the oversight who have clearance to look at this stuff. You understand? That's why we have a representative government. That's why people have to pass a security test. That's why you have to elect people to Congress and Senate that you can actually fucking trust and not like Bob Menendez or fucking Ron Johnson, right? That's why it matters. That's why those assholes shouldn't be able to look at anything, because they will tell. Look, oversight is smart, and knowing where money goes is incredibly important. But the idea that it's like, can you imagine? This is like suggesting that we should post the software for TSA scanning devices online, right? And the Wi-Fi password and the frequency by which they hook into the X-ray devices and the scanners that are there, right? Just post the fucking, here's the security Wi-Fi password for the airport. Since you're going to be in an airport and American taxpayers pay for the FAA, right? You should be allowed, anybody who walks through the airport, because Americans should have the right to know. Now, never mind the fact that the 9/11 hijackers would have all had this same thing, right? It's so childishly fucking dumb. And again, if he thinks that we actually paid $16,000 for a toilet seat, he's an idiot. If he knows that they covered the cost of certain toilet seats, and used normal things to pad the cost of them to hide money that had to go to black sites because they specifically couldn't be known, or some programs, defensive programs, especially because the enemy would know they were there. If he knows that and he's still perpetuating this, he's a liar and a scumbag on top of that. The other thing, too, is that if you put a toilet in a bomber, or you work on an evacuation system so that bomber pilots can stay in the air while they use the bathroom on the seat they are in. Hold on. Let's see. You're wrong. A flathead screwdriver I lost from my M1 tank cost me $120 to be replaced because it had to be exact specs built by a Snap-on mark with a special serial number. No, Saha. That is the $120 for a tool in there is the cost of replacing that thing. That's not $16,000 for a toilet seat. That's the process. That's the entirety of it. Getting it, matching it, storing it, shipping it, providing it. It's like that's a price rise that is established by just like food in an airport. All of it has to go through more security. There are more people hired in that process. So food in an airport is more expensive because it has to go through a security process. You got to pay for that security process as part of getting the food into the airport and serving it and all that other shit. Then you got to dispose of the waste. The waste coming out of there goes through a special channel because the airport's a secure site. So everything is slightly more expensive because of that. That would be the equivalent there. But a $16,000 toilet seat doesn't exist. It is either used to cover the cost of something, or it's a prototype because bomber pilots have to stay in the air on a 16-hour fucking shift, basically sleep in their seat and shit in their seat. And so they're creating an astronaut system for them, which is they prototyped and it cost a bunch of money, and then they decided to use it for a time. That's what that is. Just so you know. Sorry if I'm house parksing too much. I tend to house parks when I need to house parks.